Discover the captivating life and extraordinary work of Lawrence Schiller, an American photographer, filmmaker, and writer known for his bold and iconic images. Despite a childhood accident that left him with impaired vision in one eye, Schiller's passion for photography was unstoppable. He became an obsessive documentarian, capturing some of the most famous images in entertainment and historical events of the 20th century, from Marilyn Monroe and Muhammad Ali to pivotal moments that shaped history. Schiller's multifaceted career included roles as a director, author, and Hollywood photographer. He contributed to prominent publications like Life, Paris Match, Time, Newsweek, and Stern, and directed 7 motion pictures. His adventurous spirit and fresh perspective allowed him to portray Hollywood legends, with Marilyn Monroe remaining a significant part of his career. Dive into his artistic vision, groundbreaking techniques, and the stories behind his most compelling photographs. Join us as we uncover how Schiller's work has left a lasting impact on visual storytelling and continues to inspire future generations of artists and photographers. My book, Through the Lens, inspiring quotes from master photographers, is now available for purchase. This book is a captivating and inspiring collection of insights, reflections, and wisdom from some of the most renowned photographers in history. Get your copy now. The link to purchase it on Amazon is available below in the description box. Lawrence Julian Schiller was born on December 28, 1936, in New York City, United States. Although a childhood accident left him with impaired vision in one eye, Lawrence Schiller became an obsessive photographer. Even while attending Pepperdine College, his photographs had already appeared in Life, Sport, Playboy, Glamour, and the Saturday Evening Post. Schiller's interests and ambitions soon developed into a career in print journalism, documenting major stories for prominent magazines worldwide, including Life, Look, Newsweek, Time, Paris Match, Stern, and the London Sunday Times. His iconic images of Robert F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, Betty Davis, Barbra Streisand, Marilyn Monroe, Muhammad Ali, and Madame New, among others, are tributes to his persistence, ingenuity, and charm, as well as to his technical proficiency. In November 1963, while on assignment for the Saturday Evening Post, he arrived in Dallas in time to photograph Lee Harvey Oswald. Later, he secured Jack Ruby's final interview. After extensive interviews with the widow of Lenny Bruce in 1968, Schiller and writer Albert Goldman published Ladies and Gentlemen, Lenny Bruce in 1974. In collaboration with photographer W. Eugene Smith, he produced Minamata in 1975, an epic pictorial chronicle of mercury poisoning in Japan. Schiller ventured into motion pictures by directing part of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and Lady Sings the Blues in 1972, starring Diana Ross. In 1971, he produced and co-directed with L.M. Kit Carson the acclaimed documentary The American Dreamer on Dennis Hopper. His editorial direction of The Man Who Skied Down Everest in 1972 earned an Oscar for Best Feature Documentary for its producer. After securing extraordinary cooperation from the Kremlin in 1986, Schiller executive produced and co-directed Peter the Great, the Emmy Award-winning television miniseries starring Maximilian Schell, Vanessa Redgrave, and Laurence Olivier. Perhaps nothing in Schiller's career was more remarkable than his collaboration with Norman Mailer, a friendship unique in American literary history. For nearly 35 years, the two worked closely together on books including Marilyn in 1973, The Faith of Graffiti in 1974, Oswald's Tale in 1995, Into the Mirror in 2002, and The Executioner's Song in 1979, for which Mailer won the Pulitzer Prize. Schiller, who conceived the project, did much of the legwork, interviews, and research for the book, while outmaneuvering numerous other reporters to gain exclusive access to the book's subject, Gary Gilmore. He went on to produce and direct the award-winning television miniseries based on the book, starring Tommy Lee Jones. Schiller embedded himself with the so-called Dream Team defending O.J. Simpson, and with his unique insider's perspective on the case, co-wrote with James Wilworth the New York Times #1 bestseller American Tragedy in 1996. In 2005, Schiller traveled to China and over 2 years built a collection of Chinese contemporary art, now numbering over 80 paintings and photographs. In 2007, he exhibited his own photographs for the first time in the United States at the exhibition Marilyn Monroe in America in the 1960s. It is for these photographs of Marilyn that Schiller is perhaps best known as a photographer. Schiller first photographed Monroe in May 1960 on the set of Let's Make Love, and again in 1962 when he was hired to photograph the star on the set of what would become the last film she would ever work on, the unfinished Something's Got to Give. Marilyn and Me, Schiller's 11th book, commemorates his experience photographing the Hollywood legend, complete with 131 color and black and white photographs. Schiller has been a consultant to NBC News, the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation, and the Annie Leibovitz Studios, among many other photographic archives, and has written for The New Yorker, The Daily Beast, and other publications. Upon the death of Norman Mailer in 2008, Schiller was named the president and co-founder of the Norman Mailer Center and Writers' Colony in Provincetown, Massachusetts. Schiller resides in Sherman Oaks, California, with his wife Nina Weiner, the editor-in-chief of the Mayo Clinic Press. Lawrence Schiller's journey is a vivid testament to the art of observation, the courage to adapt, and the drive to capture the human essence. From the beaches of Southern California to the grand stages of Hollywood, he wove moments into history his lens a silent witness to icons, struggles, and triumphs. Marilyn Monroe, Muhammad Ali, Paul Newman, Robert Kennedy, Schiller's camera preserved their stories, not as mere portraits, but as windows into their souls. At just 23, he stood before Marilyn Monroe, a star whose light was both dazzling and fragile. She understood the camera, knew her angles, and yet, behind the confidence, was a woman fighting to define herself beyond the cliches. Schiller captured her joy, her vulnerability, and her determination, a young photographer learning, in his words, how to preserve history like a sponge absorbing life. His career was a dance with evolution. When the world of photography began to change, he embraced film, crafting stories that resonated beyond frames. 7 Emmy wins and a best-selling book later, Schiller proved that reinvention is not a detour, but a path to growth. His work reminds us that art is not confined to a medium. It is the relentless pursuit of truth and connection. However, Schiller never lost sight of simplicity. He marveled at the candidness of a family photo, the authenticity of a moment untainted by purpose. His philosophy was clear: photography is an art, it's history, a way to capture what words cannot. It is this perspective that made his work enduring, not just for its subjects, but for the humanity it revealed. Schiller's legacy is not merely in the iconic images he left behind, but in the lessons his life embodies. Be curious, adapt, see the extraordinary in the ordinary, and above all, remember that every story, no matter how small, deserves to be told. As we reflect on his work, let us carry forward the same hunger for truth, the same passion for storytelling, and the same courage to look closer. In celebrating Lawrence Schiller, we are reminded that greatness is not measured by fame, but by the impact of capturing life as it truly is: raw, unpredictable, and beautiful.